I left Gary when I realized I did not want Kelly to go to Gary schools. I wanted my child to have a quality education. I got a quality education in Gary schools. My graduating class was 560 something odd students. Of those students, there was, I think, a little over 26% graduated with honors, that's a big deal in an inner city school. I didn't want Kelly to be subjected to what I found to be a lower standard of life. Kelly was bright from the very beginning. 4 years old, she could read. 5 years old, she's doing math. When she was in kindergarten, she narrated the Three Little Pigs. Their kindergarten class did a play, and no kid can remember their parts. So when a kid got stumped, Kelly had a little microphone and she was whispering, and and he huffed and he puffed, things like that. I couldn't waste her potential. Staying in Gary and investing in Gary was a thought. I had classmates who had subsequently come back home. A lot of them ended up being teachers in the Gary school system. Couldn't believe how it had changed. How just using Roosevelt as an example, how it went from this extremely proud place to be, disciplined, floors so shiny, it looked like glass. You were proud to go to Roosevelt. You felt honored to go to Roosevelt. There was no profanity in the hallways. There was no disrespecting teachers. And it's not to say that kids didn't get in trouble. You got in trouble for not doing your homework. The kids who did talk back, they were dealt with. They were parent conferences or suspensions or some type of disciplinary action was taken. There was never a situation where a classroom was out of control. There was never a situation where we had armed police in the school or anything like that. I saw what was happening, and I did make a conscious effort. I stayed active in Girl Scouts, trying to teach volleyball, things like that, crocheting, just anything to occupy a mind, to do something positive. But when that child doesn't have the support of their parent, or when that child already feels defeated when they're 10 years old, 12 years old, I didn't have what it took. And for me personally, at that point in my life, Kelly was my only concern. That's who I had. I had to work. My husband had to work. My spare time went to my daughter. I had to ensure her quality of life. I had to ensure that she got out of public school what she could get out of it. And every day I hope and prayed, I hope Kelly experiences what I experienced in going through school. Teachers who cared, teachers who took time out. My penmanship was so horrible, I would leave it would just be a smudge on white paper. And my teacher, who graduated from high school with my dad, felt that connection to me. Oh, I know your dad. We graduated from high school. I'm going to give you this to take home. Kind, just absolute caring. You don't have those type of teachers anymore. You have teachers that have to combat, it's always the disciplinary problems. It's always the parent only shows up when the parent thinks you've wronged their child. They don't come when the kid's bringing home Fs. They don't come when the kid's been absent for 2 months. But let that kid come home and say, oh, this teacher said this to me, or this teacher said that. Then there's the mother. I didn't want that. And I was selfish, and I was thinking about Kelly. And the best thing we did was to move her out of Gary. And I'm very defensive about Gary. Again, I fled Gary also, but it wasn't entirely because of fear. It had nothing to do with anyone's skin color, or it was because I wanted a quality education for my child, and it wasn't going to happen in a school where the teacher had to become the parent.